Hi, I'm Ryan. Welcome to my schizophrenia blog. Um, I tried to fix the lighting in here today. I noticed that the shadows were coming down on my face, and it was making me look like a couple years older than I already am. And so I tried to fix that. So hopefully that'll come out okay. Today I'm going to talk about anxiety, akathisia, and dystonia. Um, I'm in treatment with a therapist now, and one of the things I wanted to address was recurrent behavioral and substance abuse addictions. And my therapist said, well, let's work on your anxiety. And I'm studying substance abuse counseling, and I'm aware that anxiety and depression lead to addictions. I'm consciously aware of that, but it didn't dawn on me that until that applied to me until I went home and gave it some thought. So over the weekend I did some research, and I said to somebody, I'm constantly fidgeting or pacing around, and he said, that's akathisia. So I looked it up, and I've always thought that akathisia was medication induced, and ever since I was a teenager, I've always been fidgeting and moving around, and the pacing didn't start. It started before I've only been on medication for 4 years, and it started before I went on medication, like the pacing, and so that's kind of been a problem that I haven't really addressed. So it turns out that akathisia causes anxiety, or leads to anxiety, or sometimes, I don't know, it starts anxiety, and I never realized that until I looked it up and found out. Found that out. There's a few different medications you can take. There's Artane, there's procyclidine, and there's cogentin. And so I talked to my psychiatrist, and it turns out that all these meds work for akathisia, but they also work for dystonia, which I have, it's medication induced, and it's like the twisting of the muscles in the limbs and in the face. So instead of holding my hand straight out, I kind of twist it around, and it seems to be something that's getting worse and worse in me, and it's awkward, and people notice it, and they always ask me, what's wrong with your arm, and I didn't really have an answer to that until recently. I could say, it's this illness called dystonia. It's kind of a rare illness, but it can be medication induced from antipsychotics. So I may be changing psychiatrists, and when I mentioned the drugs to my psychiatrist, he didn't know what any of them were, and that was just kind of another strike against him, and so I'm giving some serious thought about changing psychiatrists. So he said he was going to look it up, and he should know by the next time I go see him, which is in 3 weeks. And so I called the secretary and reminded her and told her to remind him to look up those drugs. And she said, well, call a week before your appointment. So that's what I'm going to do. It's kind of a hassle. I don't know why she can't write it down. Anyway, the akathisia seems to be the root of my problem, because I've had panic attacks since 2006, and then that's kind of lessened in the past few years, and just has become anxiety attacks. So Um, but I've always like had anxiety about just different things since I was a teenager. Maybe before being a teenager, I'm not really sure, but I was consciously aware of like the need to constantly fidget since I was a teenager. So that's all for today. Have a nice week. Thanks. Bye.